Welcome, guys, to Rebel Rock. This is a weekly show about rock and roll. We collect music over here. We talk about music. We have a good time. We hang out with you guys. It's interactive, so you also can get involved. This week, joining me, as always, is Richard Bryan Kahn. What's up, bud?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here.
We're gonna do it up. We're gonna have a good episode because this week we're gonna be reviewing the first album from Love. We're going back to 1966.
Before the Summer of Love.
No, it's true. It's true. It's exciting. That's a band. The band Love is one of those bands you've always heard about, but you never really knew all that much about for some weird reason. Well, I think we know there's some reason why. We're going to discuss that in about, 10, 15 minutes. We're going to let some people to get in here because I know hopefully that was part of the homework everyone was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
That was a big deal because we just launched our Facebook page, our group. It's in the description down below. So if you guys are watching right now, right away, make sure to like it because that's the way to stay in touch with us during the week so we can go back and forth, share what kind of music we're listening to, what we're finding, and also what we're going to be discussing on that next week's episode, like this right now.
Oh yeah. You guys time. Let it marinate with brains.
Exactly. It was nice this week to have kind of a more scheduled approach to the show where we knew this was the homework. We needed to listen to this record, make some notes. So like I said, we're going to do that in a little bit. Before then, so this week, you went out thrifting. You went looking for some music. How was your week in thrifting?
Not good. There were some records, and they excited me when I walked in the door. They were like, "Which records just put out? Still in a shopping cart." And I went back there. Christmas records I didn't want, and big band, classical. It was a stack too. I was like, man, not one record, not one, not.
Yeah. That is the worst feeling is when you see a stack of records and you're like, oh my God, no one's there. No one's touched them. And you get there and that big band music, man.
Depends whose grandma dropped them off. Basically.
And the big band shit's I'm sure there's merit there, but it seems like nobody wants big band music.
If you're into that stuff, man, go to the thrifts. Man, your collection will be massive for nothing. But I just can't get into it. I'm sorry. I've tried.
I did. Yeah, no, I've tried too because it's available. Big band music is available. I went to the thrift store July 3rd. I got out of work a little bit early. I went to the thrift, my local spot, and I knew it was going to be closed on the 4th. So I said, you know what? Let's go through some records because I just watched this documentary about, going through bins again and double checking. So I was like, maybe I should go through my bins. So I'm going through the thrift and I never do it because it's the same records. It's big band. It's crap. It's Jesus rock. It's not good. So going through and all of a sudden I couldn't believe it. I saw a stack of like 7 records all together that they slipped in, because normally those wouldn't even make it onto the shelf. That would be on a cart and be gone. So the fact they made it onto the shelf blew my mind. So I have a stack of records here.
Oh, yeah.
All because I kind of broke it down a little bit, which was nice because it never happens. It happens like once a year.
Modern stuff too, right?
It is modern stuff. When I say modern stuff, in the last 15, 20 years. We got Thrift Bites in the house. Very cool. Glad you can make it. We got John in the house. John was telling me, John said he went crazy this week. He bought like 50 records. So he's gonna be joining us at some point. He's gonna bring the heat. He said he's got some stuff to show us, something that's gonna open up and expand the mind.
We need that.
We do. We always need that. First up, though, the best part. Oh, and NG's in the house. NG, good to have you, man. We're gonna be having an awesome episode. We're going through pickups. We're going to be talking about the band Love. It's going to be a lot of fun. First, though, we had a submission because we have our Facebook page, guys. If you, like I said, make sure it's in the description. That's the best way to stay in touch with us and make sure the channel grows a little bit with this show. We're gonna go to our Facebook page right now because Gavin
Ooh,
sent in his pickups. He went thrifting last week, a couple days ago. Uh, these are all in pounds, so I don't know how that translates, but he's got some good stuff.
he killed it on a few in there, definitely.
Yeah, right off the bat, we got some Billy Joel, which we see that Glass Houses quite a bit, don't we here?
I don't, but
No?
I see a lot of his other stuff. But yeah, I don't recall ever seeing that on vinyl. Maybe CD. And the other
Yeah.
one, I don't know anything about that one.
Yeah,
Joe
it's thrift
Bradford.
thrift bites. Yeah, we're going through your pickups right now. So that's why it's important if you find stuff to hit us up because we can go through it. We have this, what is this? Jerry Raff
Rafferty, I think.
Rafferty, yeah.
Yeah.
This looks like this album's from 1980. It's a little weird. I kind of checked it out on YouTube. A very, very odd kind of polished. I don't know if he's from England or whatever, but it sounds very English.
Yeah. I thought it was called, I thought the band was Snakes and Ladders, actually, in the
I
pit.
thought so at first too, which would have been a cool name. We got some Led Zeppelin records.
Got to pick those up if you see them.
Always got to snag those up. Do you find a lot of Led Zeppelin records?
Mm-hmm. I've never found Houses at a Holy on vinyl.
I've found one Led Zeppelin record in all my years thrifting.
Yeah, I don't think you can show it on. Sometimes they ban you for that because those girls are naked and they're young.
We got some Paul Williams right here.
I actually saw that red one not too long ago. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Paul Williams is great too. Singer songwriter, did soundtrack stuff, but he doesn't take himself too serious. It's I don't know, it's fun. It's really fun music from the 70s. And he's still around. There's a really good documentary on him out there. So it's cool to see that I'm not the only person that digs Paul Williams. Yeah, you do see his records quite often because a lot of people don't give a shit about him. We got some Dire Straits.
Yeah, I got the first one on the right there. That's cool.
Yeah, I just passed that. I don't know if I bought it or not. I'm not a big fan of Dire Straits. There's a couple songs I like, but in general, Mark Knopfler, I struggle with.
Yeah, MTV had that one video, and that was pretty much like
Yeah,
everything I liked about them.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
right here. Now we're talking. Some sexy Master Reality. That's not an easy one to find on vinyl. Even
No, both albums are fantastic. I mean, you really can't go wrong.
Sabotage is definitely really good listen. It's one I got into later, but of course we were listening to the first 3 or 4. And Sabotage was kind of like, oh, what's this? But Sabotage is dope. It's really good.
Yeah,
That's the last one with Ozzy, I think, right?
I want to say it probably was.
Yeah.
And then going to Ozzy, oh, this is so awesome right here.
Man, I would love to walk into a thrift store and see these sitting there in the pile. I'd be like,
I know it. My buddy Sean hooked it up. I got a copy of Diary of a Madman, but Bark at the Moon, I've yet to come across a copy of that.
yeah, I've never seen that.
And that was our jam, right? Like growing up, that was one of the ones, the cassettes you had. It was in rotation.
His covers were awesome too. So bizarre. They were kind of like, horror films.
Yeah, no, it's true. As a kid, you were all about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, look at that cover.
amazing. Amazing. That was just sitting there. Man.
Unbelievable. Well, So Gavin, thanks so much for sending your submission this week because that was really, really fun. And he just said it worked out to $5.26 each. Killer deal on those.
You should have tipped that person that rang that in. Gave him a couple pounds.
So that's what we can do. I love this. See, that's the perfect example of use the Facebook, send us the submissions, we'll go through them, we'll talk about them. You know, it just builds this community a little bit more. Love
We
it.
like to look at your shit, so I like looking at pictures of people's finds, man.
Yeah. Nintendo's in the house.
What's up, son? Oregon in the house.
Exactly. Awesome to have you in the chat with us tonight. So yeah, that was the pickup right there from Gavin. I found some stuff. We'll check it out real quick. Like I said, I found some pretty decent stuff. We're gonna get to it here in a second, right There we are. So this is what I found. The first one I found was this group called Doomtree.
You know who they are?
I have no idea. I did some research. I guess they're a hip hop group out of Minnesota, I do believe.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's got to be, that name." I didn't think hip hop at first at all. Really cool. Independent label.
It appears to be. I've once again never heard of them. They have quite a few records out, but this.
Wow.
I wasn't going to leave it behind, even, you know what I mean? Like that's the beauty, we get to learn. So I snagged that up. We got this Eleanor Friedberger. Because I'm familiar with her actually, because this is her first solo album. She was in that band with her brother. Was it Furious Furnaces or something?
Fiery Furnaces.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, my wife would know about that.
And that band was pretty big, pretty popular. So when she did this first solo album, it was kind of a big deal. I remember it, and I actually spun this, and it's pretty good. It actually is pretty good. She's got it. She knows how to write a really good hook. Production's good. So
yeah, I like the cover. Cool, man. Hey.
This, I'd never heard of this band, but I'm so glad that I've discovered them now. The band's called The Men. And the name of the album is Open Your Heart.
Sacred Bones Records. That's pretty cool.
So look at that.
Yeah, wow.
Well, you look at this cover, right? And what does this say to you? Does this what kind of music would you think this was?
Folky, alternative, maybe like Sonic Youth mixed with something. I don't know.
See, that's what I thought right away. But then I did the research and just blown away. I found a live clip of these guys. So we're gonna check it out right now, and you'll be surprised like I was.
Open your heart to me. I'm lost out there and I'm tugging at your sleeve. What they want to you, what you want to be, who you want to be. Well,
Fantastic. That's like, it doesn't get more up my alley. Like that is my shit.
You've been rocking it?
Yeah, I've been rocking it. I was like floored by. I'm like, how did I not know about this band? So that was from 2011.
Wow.
They were a New York, I think Brooklyn band. So a lot of Brooklyn bands at that time. So I guess I missed it. I was still out playing and touring at that time. So
man, those like 2010, 11, and 12 finals, man, they're not cheap.
No. I kind of looked at the prices on some of these, and it looks to be, 20 to
Yeah,
25, $30 in that.
yeah. Some vintage records by big bands aren't worth that much. So it's crazy. Modern vinyl holds that value.
Yeah, exactly. NG says shout out Minneapolis rap, exactly, on that Doom tree.
Mm,
And he also says same label as Atmosphere.
what's
Wow.
wow. Here we
That
go.
that makes sense though, it does, right? Atmosphere being from that region as well.
Dropping some knowledge on us.
I know, I love it. NG's great. Nintendo says went to Amoeba Music in San Francisco a few weeks back, spent over $100 on CDs and one vinyl, scored some great shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
I've been to both Amoebas, and it's a deadly place for your
Yo,
your pocket. It's like you're gonna spend hundreds of dollars. It's so massive. So very cool. All right, so we'll get back to this pickup. We found this. Are you familiar with Chuck Reagan?
I am not. Who's Chuck Reagan?
Chuck Reagan is the singer from the band Avail from Richmond, Virginia. They were a hardcore punk band, melodic punk, kind of like H2O style.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of any of that. You got anything to show for this?
I don't, but what he did, he went solo. This is kind of like that acoustic punk movement that was happening, back in 2009, 2010, where guys were getting older and they're like, you know what, let's just pick up an acoustic and play. Like
Yeah,
Kevin Seconds from 7 Seconds was doing a similar thing. So this was another great find.
so cool, man. I wonder
Yeah,
if that was just one person just dropped all them off.
it had to have been
Yeah.
definitely 100%. We found Churches.
That's really cool.
Yep. Churches is a band from Scotland. They're a synth pop band. So once again, right up my alley.
Yeah, that's a cool find, especially at a thrift store, man.
Yeah, for $2, you cannot beat this.
Yeah.
This was not in that little bundle, but it was in the shelf that I missed. This band's called Renaissance, and the name of the album is Ashes Are Burning.
That's pretty cool. It looks old.
Yeah, it did look old, and the condition's really good. And I actually found a clip of these guys. This is an odd one too. Kind of progressive, kind of I don't even know how to explain it. You can just check it out. The songs are like 12 minutes long. So that gives you a taste.
Thing. Yeah, I wanted to listen to more. Wow, you looked that up at all?
I haven't. I don't know if it's rare.
Yeah,
It seems
definitely proggy.
it seems like it might be rare.
I've never even heard of that band.
No, like I said, it just looked cool. The cover, I was like, all
It's
right.
Probably an obscure one. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, check that out.
We found a copy of this Lou Rawls live.
Yeah, he's dope. I like him a lot.
Nice gatefold right there.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. That's in nice shape too.
Yeah, it really is. That was in there. Richie Valens, which I never had a Richie Valens record in my collection.
Me either. We all know those songs though.
Yeah. In the last one that I found, Was this Drive Like Jehu?
I know you like that.
I do like that. It's because it's the lead singer of Rocket from the Crypt. Um, also did this band, so he was kind of doing them at the same time. And these guys were like kind of post-punk, post-hardcore noise. Really, really good stuff. I was shocked to see this. This is like a $35, $40 record because it has a 7-inch in there too.
Nice.
And I pulled up a live clip of these guys too because phenomenal stuff, really.
Oh yeah.
This is them back in 2016, so not super long ago. Right?
A lot of energy. Yeah.
Just noisy, just riff over riff, and just I love it. I think it's great. It's a band that I've obviously been really familiar with for years, but I think getting this, I actually appreciate it a little bit more by spinning it lately. And I'm like, oh, all right, I see what they were doing.
Somebody has some good taste. Wonder why they got rid of all that shit.
You know, who knows? Maybe it was at they bought it and had it in their collection or left it at their parents' house for years and moved on. And that's my guess. It was like some parent.
It's cool finds, man.
So yeah, that was the fines right there for records. I think that was a good way to start it right there. John says the Pilm Soul's first album, first pressing, Close to Mint. He's got that coming, which is a great power pop band. Nintendo says, yeah, my girlfriend spent more than I did. I mean, you go to Amoeba, that you, like I said, you got to do it. It's like, what's the point? If you're going to go, just do it. Don't buy one or two things. It's like, yeah, come out with a bag of stuff. The San Francisco Amoeba is way better than the Berkeley one, in my opinion. Is the Hollywood one closed now? I thought there was only 2. I didn't realize. All right, so I've been to the San Francisco one and the Hollywood one. I've never been to the Berkeley one, so I'm not sure. But both of those were awesome. Awesome to have you. So you know what? Why don't we get into our main event tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we do that? Tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about the band Love in their first release back in 1966. Give you a little visual there of Love. And I'm fresh off of watching this documentary, so I got a little bit of knowledge. Both me and Richard Brian Kahn this week, we've been listening to the album. I guess before we get into that, why don't we do something? And it was 1966, right? So do we know what other albums were coming out at that time?
Not that year, but like the following year, I believe Sgt. Pepper came out.
Well, I got a list for us right here of the 25 best albums from that, and we're just gonna breeze through these real quick to get a kind of a, Young Rascals.
Yeah, Your Mamas, Your Papas. My man right there.
Yep, Donovan. So 13th Floor Elevators, which was another really good psychedelic rock band. We got Love's second album right there, but
they put it out quick.
They did. Animals. Butterfield Blues Band, Jefferson Airplane, Small Faces in the UK, Them featuring a young Van Morrison.
Yeah.
There's the album we're going to be reviewing tonight. Simon and Garfunkel, Buffalo Springfield, The Byrds, which I think inspired a lot of these bands.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Blues Breakers, the Kinks, the Who, Yardbirds, the Mothers, another Simon and Garfunkel, Cream,
Yeah, the first one.
Stones, which would have been obviously on top of the world at that point, along with Bob Dylan,
And the Beatles. Crushing everybody. Oh,
and Pet Sounds.
That's-
So
yeah, really good. Good album.
So that gives us kind of the general idea of what was happening at that point.
A lot of competition.
Yeah, just a lot of great music that was happening. So Love was a band essentially that was founded by Arthur Lee, who at the time was a young upcoming songwriter and a kid that was into rock and roll music. Happened to be neighbors with this guy named Johnny Eccles, who also played guitar, that lived down the street. So they hung out and they pretty much formed the band together. I wonder if we should kind of, well, and they got a record deal with Elektra Records too.
One of the first bands out of that area too. They like set it up for everybody in a weird way. Between their like the music they were writing, which was nobody was doing, and getting on a major label really fast, pretty mind blowing for that time, and everybody in America wise.
Yeah, no. So they were an LA band. They get signed to Elektra Records, which at that point Elektra Records had never released a rock band. They were known as a folk label, 100%.
Yeah.
So that was already kind of bizarre. And this was before the Doors.
Yeah.
So that was, just think about that. LA. This record goes on to sell only 150,000 copies. So not a bad number, but for that time period, it's nothing.
Being
That's
just a local band in LA. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and so you also have, along with Arthur Lee, the singer, you have Johnny Eccles on guitar. You also have a guy named Brian McLean,
Mm-hmm.
who was the other guitar player and also a songwriter in the group who could sing.
He wrote a lot of, compositions. Definitely.
Yeah, so you had these two guys, and he was also, this Brian guy was a roadie for the Byrds. So that's why they brought him in the group. They're like, wait a minute, we're gonna have some connections with the Byrds. Okay, this is smart. You're working politics in here. You're like, let's bring him in. And he's a powerhouse in the group too. So it's essentially you have two leaders in the group kind of battling for their songs to be heard. But ultimately it's Arthur's band. The first track on the album is actually a cover song. Did you know that?
The Little Red Book.
Yep.
They do it a lot better though. So they crushed this cover.
They do crush it. We're gonna start by listening to that and go into the comments. Hopefully you guys are still with us here. So here's a sample of Little Red Book, and this was a minor hit for this album. It was the only hit for this album.
Please come back. Without your precious love, I can't go on. Where can love be? I need you so much. All I did was talk about you. Hear your name and I start to cry. There's just no getting over you. Oh no.
So that gives you a little sample there. It's that driving bass, right? And it's got that kind of childish kind of hook there with the guitar parts. And the chorus hits, and it's just full on, like, in your face.
And their drummer stood up, played drums. was pretty weird, but kind of cool. I like that.
It is cool, and all these guys visually just looked cool as shit too.
Hell yeah.
And by the time this album came out, they were like packing clubs out. Like they'd block a whole street off because they were playing this one club, and thousands of people were trying to go to these shows.
Yeah.
And so people were out in the street hanging out just like to be in the presence of this band. It was that cool. It was that hip at the time.
Yeah, they had style, fashion wise. I think Arthur Lee, he evidently, like I saw in some comments, that he taught Jimi Hendrix how to dress on stage when he was coming up, going to their shows or opening for them or whatever.
I heard that too. There was a lot of Jimi Hendrix connection there,
Yeah.
where Jimmy sat in with them as well and played some stuff.
He liked his Arthur Lee's style, so he definitely wanted to be a little flashier, dress wise.
Oh, that was the other big thing because this band it was a mixed race band. That was another thing in '66. You saw a little bit with other bands, but
Yeah, psychedelic band with a black man singing. Pretty mind blowing. Before anybody was, getting big playing psychedelic music. Well, some bands were catching on, but a local band from LA, pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. So that was the first song. That first song, that was a Burt Bacharach song.
Burt Bacharach.
Mm-hmm. Famous songwriter. So into track number 2 now. Can't Explain. Let's pull this one up real quick and talk about it.
Can't explain, nothing seems to go right. Can't explain, nothing seems to go right. But now you took it in the morning, find your husband dead. I say you put it in the morning, find your husband dead.
Man, that bass line is just driving the whole time, and the jangly guitar, you just hear it, and it's simple, it's basic, but Arthur's like delivering those vocals once again.
It's very punk rock too, in a weird way. Just a little slower. If it had a little distortion, a little faster, it's punk rock in a weird way.
It is, but I guess then it would tie into, they were part garage band, part psychedelic band, part, I guess a little bit of folk elements in there with the chord progressions.
I've listened to a few of their albums too, and they try to sound different on every song too, which is kind of cool. They'll have the real soft stuff, and they'll have the faster stuff, and just stuff like this we're listening to right now. They're a little all over the place for a psychedelic band, in my opinion.
No, it's true. In this first album, I think it was a little more straight than what they would become, but I think that's the beauty of this first album, is it was just a real raw, basic. But for me, it was all about the jangly guitars on that track and that driving bass, which is so good.
Definitely psychedelic rock, I would put this under. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Let's go on to the third track, A Message to Pretty, which is it's a beautiful ballad. Let's check this out.
I like it.
People try to tell me what they think is right. I don't listen to them. Don't know day from night. I go through life searching, trying to find the one. I go slip, slip, you go slip, slip away. And I don't need you to help me find my way. I can make it if I just don't see.
Fantastic song.
Hitting you with them vocals, man. It's good.
It is. It's great, and I think that would probably be the most Birds influenced kind of track.
But compared to the two we just listened to, it's like kind of like a different band. Think about it.
Yeah, yeah. My guess is they were kind of using the blueprint of what the Stones were doing, because Stones always had two tracks on each album that was kind of in that vein, where it was a little bit more ballady and give them time to catch their breath before they started banging it out again.
Record companies wanted that too, want everything kind of sound the same just to keep pumping it out, keep people engaged.
Exactly. Anything else you want to say about that track?
That one I like. The second and the third one I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that pretty much it's the first side of the album. The A side is just it's near perfection, really. Let's jump into the next song. It's called what is this one? This one is My Flash on You. Oh man, we got ads right in the middle of it.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have taken that.
I don't want to be in your company. I don't need you to take care of me.
Yeah.
Let me alone, let me alone, let me alone, can't you? Let me be. All I want in this world is to say I'm a man that's free. People talk about the way I look. I think I'm always said I got enough to write a book. But don't they know, don't they know, don't they know it's a waste of breath. Cause I don't wanna be like them, all I want is to be myself. Let me play it one time now.
Fucking fuzz bass, man. Easily the coolest fucking track on the album.
Yeah, that's definitely the best one.
And you talk about that's like proto-punk shit right there.
Yeah.
The MC5 could have heard that, or the Stooges, and been like, "Oh, fuck yeah!"
It was like Primus in '66 right there, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just wrote it's all about that fuzz bass when the bass player all of a sudden kicks it into overdrive, and you just hear the saturation just breaking up on the track, and they're just banging.
It's funny too when you get into their other albums, you would be like, "Is this the Doors?" Because the Doors, bro, they love this band because Jim Morrison. I mean, not this album, but Arthur Lee does some things on other albums where you're like, Jim Morrison totally loved this guy and stole some things, I would say.
Yeah, well, they were all fans. They were all coming out to the. They were all coming out. All the guys in the Doors were coming out to the Love shows, and essentially, Love is the one that got them signed.
Yeah.
They were Love was like, you got to check this band out to the label, and label's like, oh yeah. So, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's continue here with the next track, which is "Softly to Me," and that is 10:37. And this song is written by the guitar player Brian, so Arthur's not singing or writing this track, which makes it really different.
I could love you more and more each day for a million years. And I'd sit around all day just crying happy tears. The days that sing my life away, I'm laughing with you, my darling, softly to me.
Psychedelic tune right there.
Yeah, I think Brian was bringing the most of those psychedelic stuff because I guess at this time he had a bunch of songs, but Arthur was like, "No, you can't have them on this record. It's I am love." So it was odd to see Brian's stuff kind of sip in, but it was like because his stuff was a little more out there and wacky, but it works. It really does.
Yeah, and he continued to write, I think, instrumentals on other albums, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, he did. He has a couple tracks on each album that stand out, and he probably has one of their biggest songs they ever wrote, which was on their third album. It opens up the album, and yeah. So, but that's another day. Let's keep it moving. Let's see here. Next up would be "No Matter What You Do," which another banger, really.
1330.
No matter what in the world you do, yeah, I'll always be in love with you. No matter what in the world you say, yeah, I'm gonna love you anyway. Do you remember you said that I was your love, and you take care of me?
Great pop song. Another Birds-esque type of song.
Mhm. Nice driving bass line. Singing's good.
And it all sounds super primitive too. That's the other good thing about it, right? It's just you hear the drums, it's all raw as hell. You know what I mean? Like it's not overproduced at all.
No, not at all. It's just raw right there, pretty much for that time period.
So in pretty much what happens is the next track is called Emotions, which is an instrumental. It's kind of dark, kind of twangy, a little bit of surf inspired rock there.
Yeah, I like this one.
Which is a good one. We're not gonna play it though, because I think at this point we're already 42 minutes into the episode, so we're gonna kind of buzz through. Is there any other tracks on side B that you really want to point out?
Not that I wrote down. Like side A, I definitely had as the side to listen to. There are some good stuff. I can't tell you off the top of my head. If I start hearing it, I'd be like, yeah, that one's cool.
Well, they do a cover of "Hey Joe," which has been done by a million artists, but theirs is a little bit different. We'll check that out real quick.
The modern world comes
Once again,
to
after the ad.
Downton Abbey, a new era, streaming only on Peacock.
A Whopper for her, for him, and
Nobody needs no Whopper. That much I do know.
What guacamole is?
No. All right. So we're we're done. We're done with the review. But the side B, it's good. There are some good songs, but really the side A is where it's really at for me.
Oh yeah, it was fun listening to it all week. It made me want to listen to their other stuff, so I just started doing that too.
Yeah, that's what happens. So obviously the album has a little bit of success, and they go back into the studio almost immediately because they refuse to tour.
Yeah, never.
They say we're not leaving LA. We don't need to leave LA. We have money here. There's plenty of people that want to see us. So they refuse the tour. So they have plenty of time. They move into a castle.
It's crazy. Literally a castle. The whole band. They loved each other. They just want to live together and do drugs and bang girls.
Pretty much that's what they did. It was like the Playboy Mansion, but a drug, fueled rock and roll paradise, really, with just orgies happening, just all kinds of wacky shit. And that's where they crafted the second album, Da Capo, or Da Kappa. I think is the name of the second album.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's good, but the problem is side A, once again, is chocked full of hits, and then side B is one long track.
Which sounds like the Doors. Like, basically, it's like an 18-minute Doors song. When he's like, yeah! Wow! Like, Jim Morrison was doing that. Like he was.
He really was.
Stage doing that back then, like yeah, like Little John and shit. 66, bro.
Yeah, no, it's true. Um, Thrift Bites, the contrast between songs is really cool. I kept going back to Can't Explain. It slaps. No, it's true. Can't Explain like is the one track for me that was like every time I heard it like stuck out and I was like I could hear that again. You just want to crank it all the way because it's so tough sounding. But yeah. And so they end up they do a third album. What is it called? Forever Change.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And that's where it gets really weird because it's the last album with that original kind of lineup that they brought together, and it's probably the best album they would ever record, because the band would kind of fall apart after that. But that's the one that has all the string arrangements, and people claim it's one of the greatest records ever made, and
Yeah.
everyone from the Rolling Stones to a bunch of other artists were like citing that as a major influence.
Yeah, all the reviews of that album were better reviews than Stones and Beatles at the time. Like people were like, "This is better." Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
They had,
and
they had billboards for that album in LA and everything.
yeah, LA, they were massive stars. And I think that's why maybe people like us don't know because there isn't a lot of live footage because they refused the tour. They wouldn't open up for bands. So if they played, they had to be the headliner.
They were
Um,
more popular in the UK, selling records wise.
It's true. They were massive in the UK and they never even played over there. But well, they did end up. Well, Arthur put a band together later in his life, and they went over and played these big amphitheaters, and it was pretty cool. People were pumped, and people were crying about it. It was a sight to see and a nice story to really kind of cap it because now Arthur's dead, Brian's dead. The only ones that are still alive is the drummer's still alive, and Johnny Eccles is still alive, the guitar player, the other one.
Yeah, it's a cool deep dive if anybody just wants to go on YouTube and look at like the history of the band.
And these dudes were all on heroin. They got hooked on heroin, and it was bad. So it got sketchy. I think that's what pretty much dissolved the original lineup that was there. Was they just couldn't function as a group anymore.
It's just crazy they never left and toured or wanted to go like play somewhere in another state. He was just like, why? Like, for
Well, no, it came out that in this documentary, Arthur says he goes, the truth be told, I said that I didn't care, but he was scared of rejection.
yeah,
Like he didn't want to go somewhere and like start over where like people maybe didn't get it. Like it was too much pride there. He even admits, he goes, I fucked up some, we should have done this. These are things that should have happened.
but it's just crazy. Like like the rest of the band was like, okay, which is pretty crazy too. That they weren't like, come on, bro.
But you got to think it was only like a 2 or 3 year period that this was happening. So it wasn't that long of a time. So if you're living in LA and you're on top of the world with drugs and women and all the excesses that you want,
You don't want to leave your drugs, basically. I guess.
well, you just don't even want to leave anywhere because you're just like, what do we need to go anywhere? Like everything is here. We're living in a fucking castle. Like what do you need to go out and tour? I guess you don't. And if you're making music and kind of rehearsing all the time,
Well,
I could see it.
Beatles were doing the same thing. They weren't playing anymore. They weren't playing shows.
Yeah, a very, very similar idea, but the Beatles did tour for.
Get involved with that, lifestyle. They didn't want to be touring, basically.
Because in this, they even talk about the Doors. They're like the Doors were like they took every show they could get, and that's why the Doors end up being like miles above them in popularity. And they talk about it in there. Arthur's like, yeah, we saw the Doors take off, and we were happy for them, but in hindsight, we should have done a similar thing.
Doors took that blueprint, definitely. They're like, we're going to go play everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm glad they did. So it's a connection there, Doors and Love. If you like the Doors, you should be listening to Love as well.
Yeah, they definitely go hand in hand. So that was our deep dive on Love's first album. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I don't know. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do next week? Is there something we want to do?
I've been thinking about Buzzy Linhart. I don't know if you've listened to his stuff. I have some of his records. He's a really interesting guy. Maybe I'll send you some things about him. 70s, 80s rock guy, even early psychedelic era. There's a
All right.
record up above my head.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we? You in the Facebook group, which you guys should join. Why don't you post the album and we'll do like a pick one album and we'll do like a I guess more of a mini dive on it. We'll do like
Definitely.
15 minutes on it. You pick. I'll let you curate it. You pick like the 3 songs that we want to display, and we'll listen to those and you can kind of break down a little bit of the history on them.
Buzzy Linhart. Everybody next week. I got that.
Awesome.
Hopefully we have more pickups.
Oh, and John just wrote, he said, talking to the Mitchell Guitars about being endorsed on my channel. Well, that would be awesome.
There you go. Why not?
Anytime you can get some free gear out of the deal, you might as well, because that's exciting. It's fun.
You buy a lot of stuff, a lot of gear. I see. A lot of guitars you have.
Mm-hmm. What else is going on here? We got the last 9 minutes, so if anyone wants to comment and say something, please do so.
Another thing about Love, they've never been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I saw that too.
For
Probably
being
never
inspiring to so many bands that are in there. Kind of odd. I don't know.
didn't have the record sales though. We know that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is more about record sales than it is anything else.
You ever been there?
I've been 5 different times.
I went when it opened. It wasn't like fully finished yet. I just remember like the Pink Floyd wall thing, mainly in that big CD area. I remember.
Yeah, every time on tour, because if you were in a band, you brought your album and you got in for free. So every time we went through Cleveland on tour, we'd stop there and we saw like the Clash exhibit, we saw the Springsteen. Like we lucked out, we saw some really cool exhibits.
Yeah, there's cool stuff.
John says, when are you doing the Dr. Seuss episode? Evan's asking. I don't know yet. We need to do that at some point.
That's a Rebel Gaming Club exclusive right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It probably will be. So yeah, I'm not sure yet, John, because it's gonna take some time to research. I still have the box that you sent of stuff, so we can go through that, and that's going to be a perfect way to talk about it. So I haven't forgotten about it. It's sitting right in the back there. So I was looking at it today, actually. Oh man. Oh, you found some stuff at the thrift this week, didn't you? You found some DVDs. You want to check those out real quick?
Keeping Up with the 60s. Pretty cool Blu-ray set. So it says this is from like early 2000 or something. I didn't know Blu-rays were out in 98. Were they? I don't know. Something's wrong about this. I don't know what year this came out, but it seems to be pretty early on. It's really cool set here. It's got some stickers. Got a cool little book. Got some of these stencils. Got Ringo. George. John. And Paul. And some really cool stickers, actually. These are really cool. Oh, it says love. Pretty fitting.
Yeah, that's a cool set. I got it a few months back too, just because of all the special stuff that was included in it.
Yeah, so I was surprised to find this at Goodwill with everything in it. It was $2, so that's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Nice little Blu-ray. I'm not big on Blu-rays, but cool ones I do grab. Found this Miles Electric is a performance of his from the Isle of White or Wait. I can't remember how that's pronounced. Isle of Wight, I think. So evidently, this is 1970, and 600,000 people are at this concert. That's nuts. Pretty cool.
That'll be a good watch for certain.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this a little bit. So it has a pretty cool poster and stuff. I really like this. This is really sick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
You can't beat that right there, especially since you buy it anyway. So, and it comes the fact that it was a poster. What are the chances?
Yeah, I thought about giving it to my buddy's record store to put on the wall just so it look cool, because I'm not gonna put it up anywhere. So, yeah, I'm gonna check this out pretty soon. But vinyls were beat. CDs, I haven't seen any new CDs in probably a month in there. So it's just been real dry.
A question for you: have you ever watched any of the other YouTube channels with people that collect vinyl or anything?
Not really. I might have. I just off the top of my head, I can't recall. But I don't follow any channels that pick up vinyl. I was watching a guy that collected CDs, and he had like a lot. He would like go through his collection, and he had like everything, all types of music, all styles, mainly rock and metal. But nope.
Yeah, interesting, because I've just been discovering a bunch of them and kind of going through it, and I'm shocked at how popular some are. I'm just like, I didn't know this existed and this community existed.
Need
So
some
I don't.
collabs, man. Need to be like, hey, we do this too.
Yeah, I can't tell if people just like are enjoying collecting the records or if they're actually kind of rocking them and getting into it. I can't tell sometimes. I'm like,
A lot of shit collecting. We all do it in one way or another.
yeah.
I
That's
like
true.
to open my music and listen to it. So, game wise, I can understand people. Fine, I'm sealed. Don't ruin that. But I
Yeah,
like them up too. So
I saw this documentary a couple days ago about this guy who curates a mobile record store for Coachella. So he has to round up 30,000 records every year to curate this record store at Coachella.
wow, probably
That's
does
his
well.
It's his full-time job. So he documents him going across country, the whole United States, hitting up record stores to try to fill up, a whole record store at Coachella. So he's digging through these crates. It's incredible the stuff he finds, and he's like, it's
Send
all.
me, send me a link to that later.
I will. It's a really really fun watch, and just seeing him dig through these crates and pulling out just obscure krautrock stuff that he's like, oh, check this out, and you're just like, what are the chances? He's gonna find that and stuff he's never even seen. He's been collecting his whole life, so when he gets excited about something he's never seen, it's like it's
Oh,
got to mean something.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it inspired me. I'm like, man, I want to make a road trip. I just want to dig through some crates.
It's fun. They stink a lot of the times, but it's fun. You might sneeze.
Yeah, you might sneeze, but I feel like me loving the bubblegum pop stuff, I'll have some luck because a lot of people pass that shit up.
Yeah, they skip right past that stuff. They're only looking, got all the resellers, not really like music people digging through stuff. So
Mm-hmm. So
they're looking for that money.
exactly. Thrift bites, free poster, always a win.
Yeah, I really like that, man. That'd be a great framed poster. I just don't have a music store, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Might just give it to my buddy down the street, put it up on his wall. It'll look
I
cool.
mean, just hang on to it, man. You never know. Eventually you're gonna move into another spot. You're gonna have that music room. You know what I mean?
One day, we'll see.
Richard Broncon's like, yeah, once the kids are out of the house.
Have a lot more room in the future when I'm old.
Yeah. John says, I have a sealed Sean Cassidy record. I think a lot of those Sean Cassidy records are sealed, to be honest with you.
It's fun.
But yeah, this has been a fun episode, man. We had some. This was good. We learned some stuff, went through some stuff. You're going to post the link in the Facebook group, which you can make sure to like down below. And next week we'll be back at it, and hopefully some more pickups, and we'll be talking more music.
It'll be fun. Hope everybody comes out next Tuesday.
Yeah, everyone, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, same time, same place. Everyone have a good night.